Hello YouTube viewers, welcome back. This is me Hassan Salim. After a long time I'm back in my channel and hopefully now I work with the consistency. So today we're going to talk about very important topic of object oriented programming in C#. So what is object oriented programming? So we were using procedural programming before the OOP introduces. What is procedural programming that we use normally? We just write the code, and whenever we need to, we need the same behavior of that code, we just copy and paste it where we want to use it again. So that is not the right method. The right method is object-oriented programming. In object-oriented programming, what we do, there is a 4 core concept of object-oriented programming, that is encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. We will talk about very detailed with the practical work. So let's move to the practical work without wasting any more time. Let's move to Windows Visual Studio 2015. Here I just open Windows Visual Studio 2015, and here I just draw a button just to show how object-oriented programming works. First of all, I want to tell you why this is important to learn object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is necessary to learn because it saves a lot of time and it avoids complexities. Suppose there is a class student and there are some basics properties of students. Suppose there is a name, roll number, their section, their address, their father name, blah blah blah. There is a lots of properties of student. If there is a third student, if there is no OOP, there is no concept of OOP, then what happens? We need to write the code for every single student, or we need to copy that code, whatever we want to perform on that. We will copy that code for every each student. Suppose if there is a 1000 student in the university, so we need to copy that particular code for 1000 times. To avoid that kind of hustle, we use object-oriented programming. So in this tutorial we will learn very basic just to clear the concept of object-oriented programming. So let's start with the object and classes. So here I create the class public class student. So here the public defines the scope of the class to where we can call it. For now we will just talk about public. There is a public, static, private. There is different type of scope variables, scope modifiers, but for now we just use public. Okay, so here the name of the class is student. Here I just create some properties. Suppose I just type the name, int roll number, or here I write int subject 1, int subject 2, int subject 3. The subject can be a chemistry, biography, whatever. So here I create some properties for that particular class. Now here I create the constructor. So what is the constructor? Constructor is a method named of that particular class. Suppose there is the name of the class is student. So here we create the constructor named student. What the constructor does, when we create the object class, I repeat, when we create the object of any class or instance of any class, the constructor body automatically executed. So here is the demo. Public student suppose here I just show the message hello constructor. So here I write the message box hello constructor. So in the button I create the instance of a class student as object is equal to new student. Alright, here I create the new object of a student class, and as you see there is nothing in that properties, but in the constructor student I said hello constructor. Whenever we create any of the object of that particular class constructor will be called automatically. Here is the demo. I just start the program. Here is the verb. When I click on it, it says hello constructor. It means the body of that particular constructor calls automatically when we create any object. So for now I think the constructor concept is clear for now. Alright, now we create the methods or functions. So what is the method or a function? The method or a function is a set of rules or a set of code that we encapsulate in a specific body, and when we call that particular function, it performs all of the things that we encapsulate in that function's body. So just to clear the concept, here I show you integer a, integer b. Okay, here you see it's showing up the error, the object of the student. Now it's demanding two parameter integer a and b that we define in constructor. Now what we need to do, we create their four subjects like integer English, integer geography, integer physics. Okay, now what we need to do, I just pass these values to these three subjects. So subject 1 is equal to English, subject 2 is equal to geography, subject 3 is equal to physics. So what we do over there, when student object is created, we will pass over there as a demanding three parameters. Now as you see, English, geography and physics. Suppose I just pass the marks 40, 60 and 10. These are the marks that we pass in these three parameters. What will happen when the constructor run? Constructor collect these parameters and pass these values to that subject 1, 2 and 3 respectively. So in the calculation we will use these three parameters to calculate the marks and return the sum of these subject 1 plus subject 2 plus subject 3. Okay, here I just sum of the 3 objects and pass it to the function return. Now what will happen when we create any object? Here I just create an object and it will return the sum when we call that. Here I call the function of that particular object calculate marks. It will return that particular value. It's just return the particular value and we can show it in the message box. Message box that show, because that is an integer value, we need to convert it to string as message box for the strings value. Alright, now let's start it. As you see, when I click on, it's showing 110. 110 is the sum of the 3 subjects number. Okay, now for more precise result, here we write 2 more parameters to understand it better. String name int roll number. Okay, now here name is equal to name, roll number is equal to roll number. For now I just write roll just to make it clear what we are doing. And now what I want, when the calculate marks function runs, it return the string value with the specific detail, like I write string result. Okay, and what type of results I want? I want the name, the backslash n is for new line, name, roll number, name and roll number. So now what we need to do, we need to return the marks over there. Here I write total marks, okay. Now we return the sum of these subjects. All right. Now we need to return that result to the function. Now let's see, here we need to complete the properties, as the first property is name, that is called Hassan. The other property is roll number, that is 10, and this is the subject like 45. So now let's see what's the result it shows. Here I click on the result. Now you see it shows name Hassan, roll number 10, and total marks is 145. Now how OOP is so easy. Whatever I write in their classes, now if there is one more student that I want to show the result of that, what I just create a new object. Object 2 is equal to new object and pass the different values to them, like Farham, roll number 20, and the marks are 30, 650, 50. Alright, sorry, I just write here object. I need to write the name of the class. Alright, now I just copy that, and here I write object 2. We also can place that message box in the directly function, so then we also don't need to replicate that message box line over there. Okay, for now just we see how it shows. If for the first time it shows name Hassan, roll number 10, 145, okay, and the second time it shows name Farhan, roll number 20, total marks 130. So I think we just cleared the main basic concept of object oriented programming, that how the class made, how class we define, how the objects made, and how the objects calls these functions and how it works. We can make more than one function, of course, just like public string hello. What I want when I call that function, it calls that particular name of the student and say hello plus name. Okay, so let's see how it works. Suppose now I just see object 2 dot hello. I just call the hello function for the object 2 instance. Now see how it works. First it shows, now here he see it says hello Farhan. So I think I just clear the basic concept of classes and their object, and how we can create an instance of a class, and we can use the properties of specific class for their instances. So let's move to the next topic. And so for the definition, what is inheritance? Actually, inheritance means there is a class, parent class, and there is another class, child class. The child class inherits the parent class just to access its functions or the methods. So suppose, just for this very simple example, in this tutorial we were just clearing our concept about OOP. We are not doing any kind of particular or the very critical projects. We are just clarifying our core concept of OOP. So here we just create the class, public class animal. Alright, here I write the function public void function of animal. I just need the output window. The function of animal. So suppose here I write animal eats food. This animal eats food. Okay. Almost every animal eats food. It means this is the common behavior function for the every animal. Alright. Now I create another class named cat, and in this I define another object, public void function of cat. Here I write message box dot show cat has 4 legs. Okay. So just to clear the concept, if I create the object of class cat, object is equal to new cat, and here you see when I try to call the function, it's just showing the function of cat, but I also want to access the function of animals. So if there is no inheritance concept in OOP, we need to copy that code every time for every animal and then place it the class function, and that makes ambiguity or make a messy code. So for there is a very easy way to inherit the class. To inherit the class, the syntax is just semicolon, and I here write the parent class. The parent class is animal, and that's pretty simple. Now I inherit the cat class, inherit the animal class. Now it can call every function defined in the animal class. Now you see when I write object dot, here you see the function of animal is also displaying. How I just call the function of animal, and then I also can call the function of that particular cat. So here you see the most simple example to clarify how the inheritance works. When I click on button, the animal eats food and cat has 4 legs. Both of the function works perfectly. Suppose here I create another class, public class, and there is the sub kind of cat like Persian cat. It inherits the cat. Alright. Now I here create the public void function of Persian. Here I write message box dot show it has long hairs. Suppose there is a property of the Persian cat. Okay. Now for that, when I create the object of Persian cat, objects is equal to new Persian cat. Now when I call that particular object, here you see all of the function call. the function of animal, cat and Persian. Now I can also directly call the function of animal. Now please understand what I want to say actually. Here this is the parent class, this is the child class and the parent class. Now when here the parent class of that particular class is cat, and that cat class also inherit the parent class animal. So this class inherit the cat class and also animal class, because all of the functions that can accessible by cat, it can also be accessible by Persian cat. So here you can see in a loop wise the classes can inherit one another, and it can also call all of the functions that inherit in the parent class. So that is one of the best example to clarify how three classes can inherit one another and can call the functions of another objects. So for now, if you want to see, I just play that this animal eats food and this animal eats food again. So hopefully I just clear the concept of inheritance. So in this section we will talk about the polymorphism. So first of all, let me tell you what the polymorphism is. The polymorphism is the concept in which, suppose there is a parent class and we define the function over there, but when we inherit that class in the child class, we want all of the function as it is in the parent class, but we want to change one function property. So it's not possible that we delete the function from the parent class and then we rewrite in the child class, because it's not a good method. If there is a multiple classes inherit the same class, then they also unable to use that particular function that we deleted before. So for that we use function overriding. What is function overriding? The function overriding is, suppose there is a class animal and we say that almost every animal has 4 legs. We just make the class like animal, and we say the animal has 4 legs. Then we make another class ostrich, and ostrich has 2 legs. Ostrich is a kind of a bird. Ostrich has 2 legs. Then when we call the legs function in that particular thing, it shows 4 legs, but we need to show the 2 legs. So for that we do not make a new function, we just override it. When we override that particular function, it behaves particularly for that particular function. So I think we just go for the example so we can understand better what I want to say. Okay, so I just here make a class animal, public class animal. Here I write the function public function name legs. Here I write message box dot show I will say this animal has 4 legs. there I create another class, public class cow, and inherited with the animal. So here you see, because cow has also a 4 legs, then we don't need to override that particular function over there. We just call it and we use it as it is. And if there I create another class, public class ostrich, okay, and I inherit this to the animal. Now if I call that particular function legs, it shows 4 legs. That is wrong. So for that I will override that particular function in our body of ostrich class, so it behaves separately for that particular class. So there is a specific keywords to override the functions. First of all, we need to add a virtual keyword over there, so it allows that that function can be override in the base class. So here I write virtual and here I write public override. As you see, when I write public override, it automatically shows that virtual functions that are in base class, your parent class, that is legs. Here I write message box dot show so here is the very simple example just to clarify the concept of polymorphism. So here you see I just create the class of animal. So in this function I'm saying this animal has 4 legs, and here I create another class cow and inherit that, and now here I create that class. For that class I need to change the behavior of the function, so I override that base function. Okay, so now let's see how it works in that particular condition. So when I create an object of cow, object is equal to new cow. When I call the function object legs, here you see it says this animal has 4 legs. Okay, and when I create an object of ostrich obj1 is equal to new ostrich, obj1 dot legs. For now I just make it comment so it won't run in the compilation. So when I start it, here you see this shows that this animal has 2 legs. So as you see, without making another particular function or changing the name, you can easily override that particular function that you know about, that you need somewhere a different behavior. So what you need to do, you just need to place the virtual over there and override the particular function. So hopefully you clear your concept of polymorphism. So let's move next. Thank you.